An ancient voice, whispering from the void, and it chills my lightless heart.
G'day ladies and gentlemen, this is Duckville here. I am back from the dead. I know I haven't put up any casts lately, but been having a bit of trouble with rendering, that sort of thing, but we'll get into that in a moment, because today on Lost Temple we have a Terran versus Protoss here, and as you can see, these dudes across spots. We've got NEXMiso up the top here in the red as the Terran here. NEXMiso from the Next clan, of course. Not a high feature player at all on this particular clan or anything like that, but he's certainly a decent player. I think he's ranked around 300 on the Korean server for the actual rankings, so he's definitely a great player. This dude here is this blue Protoss is called his name's LotteMart, which is LotteMart, kind of like I think it's like a discount store over in Korea. I think it was actually founded by some Japanese dude. But anyway, he's I couldn't really find too much about him, but he's definitely a good player, of course, if he's playing against NEXMiso, who's no slouch himself. But we'll be seeing a pretty cool PvT here, I believe. There were a couple of comments that this one was a nice, interesting game to see, with a very interesting build from the Protoss player. So we'll see what happens here. So, as I said, just firstly, a couple of things I wanted to get out of the way. I am really sorry about having not put up any casts lately. That is actually because, well, I'd like to use the excuse of Christmas, but people who know me will know that I'm not actually a huge fan of Christmas anyway, so I can't really use that as an excuse. But the main reason was actually that just recently had some trouble with rendering, that sort of thing going on. So I really didn't want to put up really crappy sort of casts that you know, had sort of glitches and that sort of thing in them. So I'm hoping that everything is actually fixed now. If you've been staying tuned on the channel, you'll know that I have actually, I believe I've actually fixed up the problem. So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully this one actually comes out nicely. So thank you to a couple of people who actually helped me out. Iron Hammer TV, you can go to that channel there and check out Iron Hammer with some videos he's got up there, and also check out his website as well, which there's a link on there, because I've totally forgotten what it was. I think it's ironhammers.org or something like that. Really cool gaming site there that you can have a look with news and that sort of thing. And we've got a probe just coming in, which is not going to get anywhere inside the Terran base, so he knows that he's there, but he's not actually going to get inside at all. And yeah, so thank you very much to the guys who have helped me out there. A lot of people on Twitter have been helping out, which is really good. So hopefully everything works nicely, and we'll have a great game here, and I'll certainly be putting up a lot more over this coming week now that everything is fixed. So see how it goes, and we'll hopefully have some good stuff. So I have gone back to, as I said, a really cool game on the Korean ladder. This one is from, I think it was just a few days ago, so not actually too long ago. And as usual, you guys should know by now, generally on the channel, we'll probably look at some longer sort of games, because I know people don't always see very many games that are really sort of a long distance game, such as you know, higher than 25 minutes or something like that. So we'll definitely be seeing a lot of those sorts of games on the channel from now, so we'll just see what happens. Both these players sort of doing generally standard sort of builds here. Going for the fast command center here is NEXMiso. He's going to have that command center out in a second. We'll probably see a couple of racks go down just to supplement his defense force of these Marines. As you can see here, he's only got 5 Marines out at the start, but he looks like he might be just poking out to have a little push and see what LotteMart's up to. But we'll see what happens. We've got a couple of gates here from LotteMart. He's got a robotics facility as well. Looks like we may be just going to see a 2-gate robo expand, perhaps. But we'll see what he's up to in a minute. He does have the warp gate tech on the way as well. So it looks as if pretty generic so far from LotteMart, and obviously Miso as well. There's the extra racks, which has gone up now that the command center is all done over here. So he's going to morph this one into the orbital command, and then get that one floated down to the natural, I assume, just to make sure he gets his economy up and running nice and swiftly. As you can see here on the harvester count, LotteMart's obviously ahead at the moment. He's actually got 28 probes here to NEXMiso's 23 SCVs just at the moment. He's only just got his second refinery up. So yeah, this is pretty standard these days. Especially when you cross spots, it's actually just really beneficial for Terrans to actually just get the 1 racks out. As you can see, NEXMiso actually got a reactor out pretty quickly, so he's decided to go that particular route with doing this, but generally the build sort of comes off with the quick command center after the first racks, and then you put 1 or 2, sometimes even 3 extra racks down just to make sure you've got enough units pumping out and making sure that you're using your mineral advantage quite efficiently. And as we can see, he's just actually moved down to take this natural now, so we'll probably see a bunker perhaps, 1 bunker, maybe 2. Oh, we have a paper plane over here. Actually, that is very different from LotteMart. He's actually got a probe in here, and he's going to warp in a... oh, this is actually really cool. This is something which I have never actually seen yet, is using the actual warp prism to power a building. So this is a very interesting build from LotteMart. He's actually getting a Nexus over here on the command center. So he's actually going to have a this expansion going up pretty quickly. And as you can see here, he knows exactly what is going on in Miso's base. He's got an observer just floating around here, sees the 3 racks, sees that it's obviously some sort of fast expand. But as you can see, we don't actually have too much down here at the front of LotteMart's base just at the moment. But because obviously he has spent a lot of minerals on getting this, he's actually getting all of the tech buildings. Now he's finally getting a pylon. He's takes the warp prism, pulls the probe out of there. The probe's done its job of getting all this tech up, getting the Nexus up, and he's just going to float away with this probe. It looks like the probe's going to come across here to the high ground, and we have a backdoor, well, sort of a high ground pylon here from LotteMart. So I'm not really sure what his plan is at the moment. We may see perhaps some warp-in DTs at the back there with that pylon. Perhaps once this DT shrine gets up, which will probably take about another 6 years to build because for some reason it takes that long. And he's obviously just going to be doing a very sneaky build at the moment. Now, as we can see, if we go into NEXMiso's camp, he has no idea, of course, that this is here. He has no idea that the pylon's even here. So we'll probably need to see Miso actually get some flying units out so he can detect that high ground pylon at least. He's going to need to scan, of course, to see the island, or perhaps just send a medevac over there. But, of course, generally, when you're playing as a Terran, you don't actually expect the players to do something incredibly crazy like this. So we'll see what the plan for LotteMart is, and we'll see how he goes. As I said, we're probably going to see some DTs perhaps. Wondering where that warp prism went, because we may actually see, there it is, transferring some probes, doing it the cool way, which is actually just to transfer everything into the warp prism, of course. And there it is, we do have a DT here. He does have a turret here to detect, and he's probably actually wondering just at the moment, how did that guy actually get in? Because of course, there was no way that it actually walked in the front door, because there is a decent force here and he would have spotted it. But he's got to be wondering what's going on at the moment, and as of yet, he hasn't actually thought to look up there just yet. But hopefully we'll see something coming out soon. Now, LotteMart has actually expanded down here to his natural, so he's going to be on 3 base in just a second, but there is a very heavy force coming through from NEXMiso. He's going to be sending down this big Marine Marauder ball. There is no medevac support just yet, but he does have a reactor here on this starport, which is probably going to get pumping in a second. There you go. Pumping out some 2 medevacs there just to make sure he can replenish all of the units when they use stim, which no doubt they will be doing shortly because they do have that done. We do have +1 weapons on the way from NEXMiso as well. He's going to have that done shortly, and in fact this is probably just going to be a timing push based on when the +1 is done, and it is just about done here. So he's going to storm in the base here. We've got just a couple of seconds left. DT comes in, but the DT does get spotted, and a scan goes down to remove it. And of course, he's actually going to move back now because he's actually seen that there is no expansion there. So for those of you who are just a little bit newer to the game and sort of wondering why he's sort of sent everything back, is that when he's pushed in here, as you can see when we go to Miso's view, no natural there. So the Terran's got to be thinking, what the hell is this guy doing? Because he's got no natural. He's obviously doing some crazy 1-base play. And of course, given that the DT did go down as well, we did have a couple of DTs out, that actually sort of cements that ideal as well, that you're playing just off the 1 base at the moment. But as we all know, we've got a couple of pylons around the map which are going to be warping in DTs all over the place, because LotteMart actually has enough minerals coming in from this island expansion to actually bring in enough money to build a lot of units. So it's a very interesting play here. We've got the extended thermal lance here coming along from from LotteMart. So he's going to have that done in just a second. A couple of units go out there to check out what's happening on the map on the Terran side, and he can see that this huge marine marauder ball is still floating around, and then we've got a scouting factory just floating around as well. So just having a look at the builds from these guys, what we're currently sitting on in terms of production. We've just got the one robo from LotteMart. We've got 3 gates plus the additional gate on the island, but he certainly has a lot of tech down. I would expect to perhaps see some Zealot legs to come out in a second, but we'll see what happens. We've got a Stalker just coming over here to make sure he's controlling these expansions. Doesn't want to let the Terran get out too far, and we'll probably see. There's this Warp Prism again. This guy is like a bully at high school or something like that. He's just floating around causing all sorts of trouble, making bases, warping in DTs. DTs come in the back here, and there is a turret over here, so they're really not going to get too much done, but they have been, as you can see, waypointed onto these supply depots. So he's going to take out a lot of these supply depots, which isn't really going to affect Miso just yet, but if he gets a few of them out of the way, he may actually get him close to supply blocks. As you can see here, the Terran's actually on 171 of 185, so he's getting kind of close, but there you go. 2 scans are actually wasted. This actually could be part of the plan here for LotteMart, is to actually just make sure that the scans aren't being used over here to detect this base, because as we can see, if we just sort of go to the cam there for Miso, he still hasn't actually spotted that yet. So the proxy factory is floating around. He's actually causing a bit of attention to be brought over to it, and it does take a lot of damage here. That factory is actually just out of range of the this pylon here. If you'd actually just move it slightly across, you'd actually see this pylon here at the expansion, the island expansion. So we've got LotteMart very expansion happy on the island, so we'll probably see his economy pump up in a second there. He's currently sitting at almost 2k mineral income and sitting on around about 500 gas income. So once he is, if he can get this expansion up and running, he's actually going to be way ahead of this Terran. But of course the Terran knows he's got a lot of intel on what is happening here at the base for LotteMart, and as we can see, this factory is now going to go down. It does take a lot of damage. It's obviously going to burn down if it doesn't actually get shot down here, and it is on 40 health, so it is going to die shortly. But as we can see, Miso looks like he's gearing up for an attack. A DT is here holding up the Zelnaga tower, but of course the scans, I don't think we actually have any scans, so just at the moment we are going to have to see a few of these units actually go down there. This Marauder is not very happy. The other thing that this little harassment is doing is that it's actually causing a lot of these medevacs to actually lose a lot of their energy. As you can see here, these guys have no energy at all, and as we can see, an attack is coming through. Looks like LotteMart is actually preparing to deflect this attack, but it looks as if he's not going to go in just yet. He certainly does have a lot of Colossus at the moment. He's got 5 Colossus at the moment. They do have extended thermal lance and +1 to weapons as well. This could be a very interesting battle. This is not really the best of positions for a Terran player. He gets force fielded all over the shop. This is going to go crazy in just a moment because these Colossi are going to go to town, but it looks as if these Vikings here, we've got 7 Vikings which are just camped out, taking out all the Colossi. We've only got 3 Colossi left, which is really going to hurt LotteMart, but he does clean up with some brilliant sentry usage there with the force fields going down, blocking off all of these units. But it looks as if the Marauders with the stim, the power of the stim, actually come in there and do clean up a few more units before they get whacked apart by those DTs there. And of course the DTs clean up what is all left over here, so we've got a lot of casualties there for our Terran player. He's actually got a little bit of interesting tech coming along. He's got the Mobius reactor coming along for the medevacs, so they do have a bit more starting energy, which is definitely going to help them, given that these medevacs having to be all over the map in terms of their production. But we've got a DT still running around. This guy is just checking out what's happening. This is not necessarily some sort of attack DT, but it is certainly coming in here to check out the gold. Spots the gold, starts hacking away at SCVs. So I'm just sort of interested to see what Miso is going to do, given that there are all these DTs floating around the map. He obviously knows that Storm Tech is probably on the way. We do have some more gates now done for LotteMart, so he's got the definitely the power to use all of his economy. Interesting that he hasn't actually used the power in his Nexus though. There's not much chrono boosting going on at the moment, but the Storm Tech is just about done. We'll probably see the Kidaran amulet go down as well in just a second, and he does chrono boost the end of Storm, and then doesn't actually put the doesn't put the amulet in production there, but the +2 weapons is now done for the Protoss forces, so these guys are going to have a lot of damage being thrown out at the Terran when the Terran engages. And as we can see here, another scan actually gets wasted. Well, not wasted, I suppose. It actually did kill a DT, but the DT obviously causes the loss of that scan there. So we still actually have Miso in the dark regarding this, and obviously regarding the base down here as well. So he's still when you're in this sort of position as the player here, just sort of wondering how the hell is this guy actually supporting everything that he's pumping out here, you have to sort of assume that there is a base somewhere. The problem with Miso's play at the moment is that he's not actually checking to see if there's any bases. He's sending a Marauder around here just to check the gold. Obviously the gold hasn't been taken. He really needs to be thinking, okay, where is this guy actually building a base? But we do have a battle here which is going to take his attention for a moment. Guardian Shield goes up, a couple of force fields over here to block out some of these Marauders, some more there as well, and some nice usage of the Marauder stim to push in there and actually take out the rest of these sentries. The Vikings are actually cleaning up a lot of this as well, so a nice little advantage there for NEXMiso. He does come in here. There's 3 Colossi up on the cliff. These guys are not protected by any Stalkers. There's 2 Stalkers here, but they are no doubt going to go down in a second. As we can see here, the Marauder's just pushing in here. The Marauder's doing a lot of damage as well. This Nexus is going to go down quite quickly. These extra Forge are also going to be lost as well, but a Storm does go down there. The Storm actually takes out a lot of the health on these Marauders, but they're still going to be alive for a moment. There's a little bit of energy left in these medevacs, and as you can see here, he's going to push up into the base here of LotteMart, and these Marauders are actually quite low, so it's going to be interesting. Storms his own units. That is not what you want to be doing, but the DT is here to clean up the rest of these Marauders, and the Marauders are obviously going to go down here. A Colossus comes out, probably not the best of time for that guy to wake up out of bed. A Viking pops out, actually clean that dude up, and the rest of these forces are going to have to run away because there is an Archon here. This dude's not happy. Here's an Instructor. He's got 14 kills. I would hesitate to say that some of those kills are actually some of LotteMart's probes that he sacrificed there during the battle, but no doubt he is a bit annoyed about that. But this Nexus needs to either go back up or he needs to take another base somewhere else. It looks as if he might be looking to take the gold expansion over here. And now we actually see Miso checking around the map just to check out if there is another base somewhere, because he obviously knows that there is something going on, something a bit fishy going on around here, and I would suspect he actually knows that there is the island bases have been taken. He just does not have the energy to actually scan them at the moment. He's got a little bit of energy here on this this command center as well, and this one's going up. A DT comes across. These DTs are doing a fantastic job for LotteMart, and as you can see, the legs are done for the Zealots. They're going to be able to catch the Marauders and kill them off. Stim goes down. The Stim is not going to save these guys, but they are going to do a bit of damage here. The Zealots are going to get killed off, I think, and then the Stalkers and the Archon are going to be left over. But there we go. A couple of Zealots survived. Those dudes are pretty happy about that. And as we can see, we've got a DT still hacking away at this command center, which is now cancelled. A Warp Prism. Is this dude here who's still just flying around being really annoying? I think it is, but hello, look at his brother over here. This other Warp Prism warps in some Storm Templar here and just bring them in. That's my new name for them, Storm Templar, because that's all you really use them for these days. But the attack comes in, removes a lot of these SCVs, and so Miso is not going to be happy about that. If we have a quick look at the income tab, the Harvesters are currently sitting at around about the same, which is quite interesting considering we've got Miso sort of just a little bit behind on bases at the moment. But either way, he's still doing a great job sticking in this game, and a medevac finally comes over, spots this Nexus. This is the point where Miso is currently sitting there at his desk in the house and is thinking, what the hell, how did I not actually spot that? A brilliant little feedback there on this medevac goes down, and a DT comes in to clean up the rest of these guys because they have no healing coming in from the medevac. But yeah, that was quite a bit of a face desk moment there for Miso, currently just sort of walking in there to that island expansion and just seeing everything there. But we've got a battle coming in, a push coming in, sorry, for Miso. He's going to have to deflect this one if he can, but the Stalkers are doing a nice job blinking away, not taking too much damage because, of course, these Marauders do the bonus damage to armored units, and it looks as if LotteMart is actually going to move in here and take out this this gold expansion. Not of too much consequence really for me, so given that this gold is actually just about done and dusted. But these units are going to be lost, I suspect, because these Marauders come in here, stim and clean up the Stalkers. Archon's trying to run away, but that dude is slow regardless of where the concussion shell is being hit on him. And we see that attack be crushed there easily by those Marauders. Now, we've got these Warp Prisms still flying around here. We've got another attack coming in. These Marauders are going to come in here. They're going to try and get those probes, I think, perhaps, or just get this expansion somehow. Feedback goes down again on the medevacs there. Great usage there of the feedback by LotteMart, and we have these probes being evacuated here. This is going to be, this Warp Prism is going to be utilized quite nicely there, and we see that Miso is in a lot of trouble from an economic point of view. He's obviously got no mining expansions, unless you call this a mining expansion, but I certainly don't. This Zealot does not want this expansion to be called a mining expansion either. This guy is just hanging out here. He's staked his claim on this particular expansion, so this command center is not going to be able to land. And it looks as if Miso is going to be just trying to move out here to control as much of the map as he can. Interesting to actually stim. Whoa, I'm going to control the camera properly. He's going to stim into the storm there, a little bit interesting. And these Zealots say hello, goodbye to those Marauders, as they took a lot of damage from the stim and the storm, of course. And Miso using up a lot of his extra energy that he had on these command centers, and a whole bunch of mules come down. We'll see the income spike for him there. He obviously actually skips ahead of where LotteMart is, but this Warp Prism sees what's going on here. We're probably going to see a warp in of some units perhaps at this base, because he knows that that is there now, as you can see here. And we have an attack going on down here at the gold for LotteMart, but he's not going to be able to save it just at the moment. We're going to need to see some more units come in here for LotteMart, and he does bring in some Stalkers and some Templars, so they're going to clean up this attack here. This is not going to go too well for Miso, but he does get a little bit of damage done. I think this is actually going to be nearly the end of Miso, because as you can see here, his command center is going to have to fly off. He's going to need another car parking space because he's not going to land over at that expansion. This expansion down here is now under attack from a DT as well. The DT is just going to be able to easily go to town on this, because there is no detection just at the moment, nor are there any forces actually coming to help. Finally, these Marauders actually come across, and they're going to be able to get the DT once they actually arrive, but they're going to have to use, again, they're going to have to use another scan, which is really just not going to help Miso at all. As you can see, we've got some units moving through the map from LotteMart. He's going to come in here. I suspect this may be one of the last particular attacks. There are some SCVs actually tanking there for these Marauders, but Storms go down. Storms rip apart those SCVs, and these Blink Stalkers doing a whole heap of damage, of course, given that they do have +2 to upgrades, and they do bonus damage to the Marauders, of course, but the Marauders actually fend them off just in time. And this command center is actually going to get across here to this expansion, unless it's this guy again. This guy, think of like some bully at your school or something like that. That's this guy. He's floating around causing trouble all over the place. We're probably going to see him actually warp in some units around here, or maybe not. We do have an attack just here in the middle. A storm goes down on top of these Marauders, and these SCVs are going to absolutely tore to shreds if the Archon has any say about it, but he actually doesn't, because he gets picked off by the Marauders. And where is that? He is still over here. Let's keep an eye on that guy. These racks are now done and dusted. These, how many have we got there? We've got a total of 10 racks here, plus I think there are a couple of extra ones around the map, but they're not doing anything because Miso is in a terrible, terrible spot just at the moment. As you can see here, Storm is going to go down on these mules and the SCVs. There it goes. The Zealot comes in to finish the job. That guy, that guy's going to clean up those leftover SCVs, and I'm pretty sure that is going to be it. We'll probably see a GG here from Miso any second now, given that he actually has a grand total of 62 minerals and just over 1400 gas. So unless he's got some particular gas-heavy unit that he can build that is going to help out here, I'm not sure why he's still here. But a great little game there from LotteMart. He did a great job of taking that expansion up at the island near the Terran's base, which is very daring, of course. As we know, Miso had no idea that that was there until around about 20 minutes into the game. There's the GG, and that is it for another day for Miso. So great play there once again, as I said, from this particular Protoss LotteMart, who I've never heard of before. Hopefully I can see some awesome replays of him again on the on PlayXP, but we'll see how we go. Hopefully, as I said, we'll get some more replays up shortly, and now that I think I have fixed some of the problems I had, so please bear with me with that, and we'll get some going shortly. Please leave any comments you'd like to leave, and leave some feedback, whatever you'd like to leave me some Christmas presents if you want, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much. Cheers.